Since I discovered fermentation, I realized it's one of the most powerful tools for health, especially for gut and digestive health. It's an infinite universe that allows us to create medicine right from our kitchen. I'm sure you've heard about kombucha, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and even miso. The list of exquisite fermented foods for different flavors and creations in the kitchen is truly endless. But today I don't want to complicate things for you. I want to give you just one tool, a master key that will open the doors to all kinds of fermented foods. A basic recipe that you can use to ferment any vegetable you want. It's simple, safe, and will be your home's health foundation. I'm gonna give you the recipe and the step-by-step technique. But I also want to tell you why fermentation is so vital for your energy and your gut health. Before we continue, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any of the videos I upload, and leave me a like if you enjoy this video. About 8,000 to 10,000 years ago, during the Neolithic period, our ancestors discovered how to preserve food and at the same time make it healthier and tastier. Today, science proves why fermentations worked and why they still work. We're going to practice fermentation now. Lactic acid fermentation isn't related to dairy products. It's a process where good bacteria, mainly lactobacillus, which live in vegetables and the environment, consume the sugars present. And as a result of this process, those bacteria release lactic acid. This is the key process for health. It's your super preservative. Lactic acid is a natural preservative that lowers the pH of the environment, creating an acidic environment where bad bacteria can't survive. This allows the good bacteria, the ones that heal you, to grow and colonize. It's pure natural medicine for your gut. By consuming these ferments, you are filling your digestive tract with millions of probiotics and digestive enzymes, which improve nutrient absorption. They help reduce inflammation in your body and strengthen your immune system. And of course, they give you the energy and vitality you need every day. I'll show you how to make the recipe. But the first thing we need to keep in mind is that the jar we're going to use should be made of glass and be well sanitized. As I said, we'll make a master recipe we can use to ferment any vegetables. For that, we're going to need a glass jar that we can seal tightly, like this one. We're going to cut the vegetables we want to ferment and put them in the jar first. This is a 1.4 liter jar, but it can also be a 1 liter jar because what we're going to use now is about half a kilo of vegetables. I'm going to use zucchini, tender green zucchini. I'll go little by little. I've already washed and disinfected these zucchini. The vegetables need to be agroecological or organic so they don't have pesticides. The skin, if you're unsure, it's best to remove the skin. Here, the vegetable is agroecological. What I did was put it in a container with water and a splash of vinegar, and that's how I disinfect it. You can also disinfect it with baking soda, with something gentle, not with a very strong disinfectant, so it doesn't kill the bacteria we're interested in. Here I've finished cutting. There are 4 medium-sized zucchinis and I'm going to put them in the jar now. Before adding everything, since I want to add more vegetables, I'll set this aside in the clean dish that held the zucchini. That way I'm making layers. Now I'm going to peel these little onions, okay? And before I continue, I'm going to clean up. I'll clean my knife and wash my hands. And that way we make sure the process is completely hygienic. I'm almost done here with the onion, 2 small onions. Here I have about half a head of garlic more or less peeled. Here are some clean rosemary sprigs I harvested from the garden. I washed them with water and vinegar. Well, now we're going to start putting it together. This is up to your taste, right? I chose zucchini and onion, but you can choose whatever you like, however you want to put it together. I'm also going to cut the garlic in the same way. Boom! wounded. No garlic. You don't need to crush it or do that thing you always do with garlic to activate it, because fermentation already does that, and in a sublime way. We add a little more zucchini. Oh, I forgot. The rosemary, let's add a few sprigs. Here I have about 3 or 4 sprigs of rosemary, but they are kind of small. I like it with a lot of rosemary, but that's up to each person. You can just add 2 small sprigs and that's it. I really like the flavor rosemary adds. And we're going to add a little more garlic. Why do we do it with our hands and not with gloves? Because obviously hands are the most hygienic thing there is. To work, as soon as you feel you've touched something contaminated or dirty, like soil or anything else, you go and wash your hands and they become spotless. If you work with short nails, even better. And if you work with long nails, you have to use a little brush under your nails. I added a lot of rosemary, but well, here at home we really like it. We're kind of fans of the flavor that rosemary gives and of the properties of rosemary, right? It's so beneficial, isn't it? And now we're going to add the spices. We've already put in the rosemary, all nicely layered, and now we're going to add a little bit of black pepper. This is all optional. How we season it is optional. These will move around later with the liquid. This one is essential for me because it turns out exquisite. They're mustard seeds. We're going to add some medium-sized, slightly broken leaves. These are dried bay leaves. 1, 2, 3. This is smoked paprika. I use just a little. And that's all for the seasoning. Now what we have to do is the most important part. The brine, which is what will protect and keep this food safe, will keep the bad bacteria at bay. They won't be able to survive in this environment because an acidic environment will be created, the pH will go down and an acidic environment will form, and the good bacteria, on the other hand, will be able to multiply and will become our probiotic. That's why the key is to keep everything very hygienic and to make sure that the salted water we're about to prepare completely covers all the vegetables. The third crucial step is ensuring no oxygen is present and no vegetable pieces are left floating or exposed to air. We're going to prepare the brine for this master recipe or general recipe. Here I have 1 liter of water, exactly filtered water, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of salt. This doesn't have to be exact, but it's best if it's at least 20 grams of salt, because this will keep everything in check and keep our fermentation safe. So there I have 20 grams of salt. As I was saying, the salt has to be pure. It shouldn't have additives, it shouldn't be table salt, which usually comes with iodine or fluoride, right? And that won't allow the bacteria we're interested in to grow. The salt must be pure, with ingredients listed as only salt or sea salt. We add the salt to our water. What we're preparing here is a 2% brine, approximately, because we're using 1 liter of water, so that's why it's approximate. Because we add 20 grams of salt, we wouldn't need to subtract that from the liquid. Is this okay? Remember, for each liter of filtered water, add 20 grams of salt, preferably sea salt. We mix. If you make a smaller jar of vegetables and you need to use half a liter, you use the same rule. half a liter of water for 10 grams of salt. What we're going to do now with clean hands is make sure the water reaches everywhere. And also let the air out. It's best to use a weight so all the vegetables stay submerged. Usually there are glass weights you can buy, or if not, you can use a glass or you can use a bag filled with water and tied. I have this one, so we're going to use it, and that way I make sure that the vegetables stay under the water. I'm going to take all of this out that was left outside, and we'll push this down. Very good. It could also be a cabbage leaf. I don't have one right now to push with. And the water stays on top. The key is that no vegetables are touching. We already have a little more. We're going to add just a little bit more, and that's it. We're going to close it. Very good. Did you see that I had some water left over here? It doesn't matter because we used what we needed for this jar, because we filled this jar with a lot of vegetables. Maybe if you put whole carrots or cut them into 4 strips, you'll use almost all the water. In this case, since the vegetables covered a lot, we used a little less water, and besides these vegetables are full of water, well then it goes to a dry, dark place. But now I'm going to tell you exactly what that place should be like, where you should store it, and also the time periods depending on how long you keep it. What will happen to your ferment? I'll tell you about it. We store the jar in a dark place. It shouldn't get sunlight and it should be cool. Between 20 and 22 degrees approximately. It shouldn't get direct light. Now for the tips, let's call them from the expert fermenter, degassing. You'll notice small bubbles rising, which means fermentation is active. It's very important that once a day, or at least every 2 or 3 days, you open the lid so the gas can escape and quickly close it again. What we're doing there is releasing the excess carbon dioxide and preventing the jar from bursting or overflowing. I mean, with so much gas, we're going to lose liquid. The amount of time we leave it is equal to flavor and strength. At minimum, let it ferment for a week at least, and the optimal time will be 10 to 20 days or 2 to 3 weeks. During that period, the most resilient bacteria take over, producing the key probiotic benefits. The ferment will reach an ideal level of acidity and the flavor will become balanced. That's the moment when we put it in the refrigerator, the fridge, the cooler, whatever you call it now. If you're looking for a deeper flavor complexity, like with sauerkraut or kimchi, you need to let it sit longer because the flavors will become more acidic and complex. Delicious! In that case, we'll need another 4 to 8 weeks. When we're about to serve it on plates or eat it, we're going to avoid metal and use wood or plastic instead. And what if we scoop it out with a plastic spoon and get tempted to taste it? We should never put the same spoon back into the jar, ever, because this would contaminate our ferment. We only open the ferment to serve it and close it right away to try to keep its environment hygienic. How can you tell if it's spoiled or if the ferment is really working well? Your sense of smell will guide you. When you open a jar of ferment, a strong, intense smell is normal. If it's good, it should smell acidic. Kind of vinegary, it's going to be strong, but if it's spoiled or contaminated, the smell will be putrid, it will be unpleasant. And if you see mold or something that doesn't give you confidence, it's better to throw it away and start the process again. Fermentation is actually the simplest and most powerful form of natural medicine at home. It helps you integrate the vital health and energy that's so important. And the reality is that we don't have a culture of fermentation, of fermenting, of creating our own ferments, of making our own foods. And you will see the difference when you start consuming. Even if it's just one fermented food, whether it's sauerkraut or you make your own fermented veggies or you make a kombucha drink, you will see the difference. And how does your energy increase? How does your vitality improve? And above all, how does your gut health get better? That's great. Now that you have the basic recipe, which vegetable will you start with? What are you going to experiment with? Tell me in the comments, I'm really curious. And of course, I want to invite you to check out my fermented garlic recipe, which is a delicious recipe. Many people have already made it and left comments saying they love it. And to encourage you to make it, I'll leave it here for you so you can click on this video and go straight to watch it. It's very easy. It's a delicious food and a powerful probiotic. I invite you all to make it. And that's it for this video. I send you a big kiss and a huge hug. See you in the next one. Bye.